on, everybody? It should be OY. The 20 Game Sports back early Sunday morning. And, I do these things. Some of y'all like these Sunday morning recaps, so I'm going to try to continue to do these things for y'all Sundays. What we have here is, Jackson State defeats Campbell University. Everyone thought that this would be the game that Jackson State will basically mess up, stumble up, whatever you want to call it. Again, I appreciate the early birds that are in here. Make sure you comment to let me know who you are and where you're from and all of those good things. I appreciate y'all. I know some of y'all might be getting ready to head to church, leaving church, whatever the case may be. So I appreciate y'all coming through here with me on this Sunday morning. Again, no cameras on Sunday. I don't feel like messing with it. Ooh, it's cold in here, but not as cold as that ride home was for Campbell yesterday. And I want to give them props, Campbell and Coach Mentor, the quarterback over there at Campbell. They had Jackson State on the ropes a little bit. They had them scared just a little bit. But if you watch the flow of the game, and then I talked to my guy, Luke Jordan, afterwards, and, he pointed out something to me that was very, very interesting that I should have picked up on. And he said that Jackson State's defensive coordinator should be very, very pleased early in the game because what Campbell was getting was on a lot of broken plays. And if y'all watch that game and go back and watch that game, a lot of their big plays, especially from the quarterback, was from scrambling, right? And they ran the ball well early enough. And Jackson State just was not making tackles early in the game. I mean, early in the game, they was not making tackles, but I don't want to leave not giving Campbell their due credit because, yes, somebody's missing tackles, but that means that you're making them miss tackles. And I hope y'all liking the background music today. It's a little different, right? I just wanted to have a little more of a chill, relaxed vibe this morning. Shout out to Brian Johnson. Appreciate you coming through. And we also have Eugenia Brown. She says, salute to the chat. Good morning. But I want to give Campbell their credit because they played well enough again for them to win the game. But Jackson State's defense is just on another level. And I predicted this way back in June, like June 1st, June 2nd of this year. And I said that this defense had a chance to be better than the team last year's defense. And then right now it's looking like I was right. I'm just going to put it out there. It's looking like I was right. And I ain't even got on the Travis Hunter effect yet. And I will get on that. Haven't got on the Travis Hunter effect. This defense is just legendary. And if you heard the post-game comments by the head coach of Campbell, Mr. Mike Mentor, he said that this defense reminds him of the Chicago Bears, the 85 Chicago Bears. High praises. That defense is one of the most recognizable defenses there is. And Virginia says suggestion, you might want to turn the music down a little bit. Okay, gotcha. It's too loud. Y'all let me know if that's a little better. But it's funny that he says that because during the stream yesterday, somebody said that this defense was looking like the 92 Cowboys. That's crazy that Mike Mentor comes out after the game saying that this defense reminds him of the 1985 Chicago Bears, which that defense was incredible. And Jay Blue, what's up, Jay Blue? Good morning. This atmosphere in Jackson was great. Reminded us of our undergrad years here at JSU. I bet it was crazy, man. And I think I want to try to get to the Jackson State homecoming game next year. Like, if not a homecoming game, just a game period while Coach Sanders is still there. She says it's good. Brian says it's good. While Coach Sanders is still there, I want to try to get to a home game and experience the whole atmosphere that is Jackson State on a Saturday. I got to get to one next year. But back to this defense and Aubrey Miller. Aubrey Miller, if anybody had any doubts that he can play on Sunday, all those doubts should be out the door. And I'm saying that because not saying that he's going to be a first or second or third round pick, right? And he very may well be. But I'm saying that and to say that Aubrey Miller made the plays yesterday at the collegiate level where you want to see a player of his caliber dominate that side of the field. Aubrey Miller made almost every single play that you needed to make, that the defense needed to make yesterday for his team to win. I believe he had 12 tackles. Let me look at my notes. Make sure I'm right. I believe he had 12 tackles. I'm sorry, he had 13 tackles. 13 tackles. 1 sack for sure. And a couple of tackles for loss. That's it. Aubrey Miller was on fire, yeah. Right? Somebody called him Q Miller or something yesterday because he's a Q dog. But that's what big time players do. Big time players make big time plays and big time games. There's no such thing as having a bad game in the big game, right? There shouldn't be a thing, but it happens, right? But if you're a big time player, that's the type of stuff you want to see from a guy like Aubrey Miller. What he did yesterday, he completely dominated that football game yesterday. His presence was just through the roof. He was amped up. I mean, he had veins just popping out everywhere. The dude was on fire, as Jay Blue said. The guy was relentless. He was doing anything and everything that he needed to do for his team to win. And Brian Johnson says Aubrey made some money yesterday. Yeah, and like I'm saying, I'm not saying he's going to get drafted in the first, second round, third round, but I pretty much think that this guarantees him getting drafted as long as he continues to get this type of effort, this type of energy, and making those plays, right? Game-changing plays, game-saving plays. And Campbell was giving Jackson State fits because of the no huddle. And if we're watching the game, we're going to be honest, that Campbell no huddle, the hurry up offense was giving Jackson State some issues. It was giving Jackson State some issues early on in the game. So if I'm going to critique and give praise to Jackson State, I also have to give them some backlashing a little bit. Campbell gave them everything they wanted early in the game. Then eventually, like Jackson State normally does, they settle down. And in the second half, again, I don't know what goes on in the locker room. Yes, we get a little snippets here and there, what Coach Prime says at halftime and what he does to get the players fired up at halftime. But something about that halftime, they go in, make adjustments, and they come out looking like a very, very different team. And I appreciate the latecomers, coming in here and joining us on this Sunday morning. We're talking about Jackson State's defense right now, and especially Mr. Aubrey Miller. And Brian Johnson says SWAC Defensive Player of the Year. And Brian Johnson, again, I don't know if you might not have been following me by then or subscribed to the channel by then. That was my prediction. Aubrey Miller was my prediction to win SWAC Defensive Player of the Year back in June. So before the season even started, I picked Aubrey Miller to win Defensive Player of the Year. Y'all can go back to that video and fact check me on that. Guaranteed. But that defense just relentless, and they proved to be who they are. Right, they were pretty much on par all game. They only given up 7 points for the year. They were only giving up about 9.2 points, 9.3 points a game. So for the better part of that game, they had only given up 7 points. Let's say 56, 57 minutes of that game, they have only given up 7 points. And, Campbell scored late in the game with, I think, about 2 minutes left. So about 56 minutes, 57 minutes of that game, the defense was on par for who they are. Y'all remember the old Dennis Green talking about the Bears? It's like, man, they are who we thought they are. They are who we thought they are, and I'm pretty much on par of what I was saying in June, that this defense was going to be better than it was last year. And Jay Blue says, I felt like we left 21 points out there. Yeah, absolutely. And I haven't even gotten to that. I just want to speak on the defensive side of things, because let's be honest, defense won this game. But yes, there were points left off the board yesterday, especially in the red zone for Jackson State. I have no idea what they were doing a couple of times in the red zone. I had no idea. The one to Travis Hunter, I knew that they were going to go back to him when they got the interception, because Travis Hunter had just gotten that pass interference call with a great double move out and up. And then he was walking back to the sideline saying, give me the ball. I knew that they were going to go back to him the very next play. Things happened. Campbell ended up getting an interception. So that's what you want to do as a defense. You want to be able to get stops in the red zone, get turnovers in the red zone. So that's what they did. And now I can segue into Mr. Travis Hunter. And I want to ask the chat, did y'all notice how much, I'm trying to phrase this correctly. Did y'all notice how much the other defensive backs stepped their play up because Travis Hunter was on the field? Did y'all notice? Y'all put it in the chat. Let me know, yes or no. And, as they used to say, for us Southerners, Southern Baptist folks, they used to tell you when you go to church, man, your presence says much. You just being in the church house means your presence says a lot. And that's the same way I felt about Travis Hunter yesterday being on the field. His presence on the field said a lot. It seemed like to me, his presence on the field made everybody else elevate their game up, especially in the defensive backfield. The guy is super, super talented. He shows some smarts, except for on that one play when the quarterback jumped over his head. Yes, that was Travis Hunter, who he hurdled over into the end zone. That was him. But he shows me smarts. He shows me he knows how to play the defensive back position in a way that a kid his age should not be able to play that type of position. This kid is special. Coach Prime has told you he's special. I've told you this kid is special. So this kid has not played football in about 6 or 7 weeks. 6 or 7 weeks. Imagine, he's not even in football shape. He played both sides of the ball yesterday. He's not even in football shape. He's not in game shape. Brian Johnson said they scored the last one. Yeah. So about 56, 57, 58 minutes of that game, Jackson State's defense was on par to who they are. He said we all knew. And Beasley played awesome. Travis elevated. Yes, the kid, he elevated. His presence alone on the field elevated everybody else. Campbell's wide receivers could not create any separation. They hit the tight end a couple of times here and there. But, most teams don't even throw to the tight end. They don't even. Tight ends, you're old reliable, right? You're old reliable. You got to go to the tight end sometimes, and Jackson State ended up doing that, and I had been calling for that. I called for a trick play here, a play-action play, and they finally got that in the third quarter with that run out. Shedeur rolled out to his right and threw back left to his tight end down the sideline. Great call. I was calling for something of that nature all game long because Campbell's defense was being very aggressive. So what do you do as an offense? You use their aggressiveness against them. And that's exactly what they did to get that score, which was huge. But back to this kid, Travis Hunter. He made everyone else play at a higher level than what they normally have been playing, in my opinion, right? In my opinion. I'm not saying it's right, but just from what I've seen yesterday, the DBs were on point in every facet of things. Being a defensive back is hard, man. You can't touch nobody. All the receivers are flopping and asking for a flag almost every single play, and referees, for the most part, are giving it to them. So being a defensive back is very, very hard, and we can talk about the officiating if we want to. I try not to, because at the end of the day, you cannot leave the game to be decided by referees and officials. You cannot leave the game to be decided by that. You cannot leave the game to be decided by that. It's just, it is what it is. It is what it is. And shout out to Hattie Ross. Appreciate you coming through. Yeah, the backs looked really good yesterday. Yeah, they were the best I've seen them play. The best I've seen them play. Double T's in the middle. What up, Double T? Says 100. Yeah. Again, appreciate y'all coming through here early on this Sunday morning. It is 9:52 here in Texas. So some of y'all might be a little early. Some of y'all, if you're on the East Coast, it's already 11 o'clock there, damn near, and on the West Coast, it's still early over there. Might still be wiping the crust out your eyes. And Double T says, exactly, take the game out the ref hand. Yes, at the end of the day, you have to be able to make the best for yourself, right? You have to put yourself in the best position possible to be successful. You do your job and you live with the results. So I try not to harp on referees. Yes, but in every game, football and basketball are two very difficult sports to officiate. Baseball as well, right? Because it is differently, but the umpire has to make a judgment call on balls and strikes, things like that. But in football, like literally almost every single play, there can be a flag. In basketball, almost every single play, there can be a defensive foul or offensive foul. Very, very hard thing to do. And for folks who've never officiated, I suggest that you try it. Brian Johnson says the ref didn't fumble the ball or throw an interception. No, they did not. Says noon already on the eastern coast of Canada. Ooh, wow. All right, so that's just my opinions on the defensive side of things. We can go over to the offensive side of things here. Jackson State, in their love for, let's just say that they're trying to make sure Shedeur has his numbers, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with making sure Shedeur, the coach's son, has his stats. Right? He has his touchdown stats, right? And I said Shedeur will probably have about 38 to 40 something touchdowns on the season, which I think he's on pace for that. He did throw another interception, right? That's interception number 5 on the season. And I said that if he wanted to be in the Heisman, Heisman race, he would have to have less than 5, if I remember correctly. I did a video about Shedeur this summer as well. I think he had to have less than 5, and I believe he's already at 5. He had 2 last week against a very, very bad Bethune-Cookman team. I don't know if they won yesterday, but I know they were struggling a little bit earlier on with Mississippi Valley State, who has not won a game. So Shedeur yesterday, he's 23 of 31, and he still had 230 yards, right? And the one big pass play to his tight end. I can't think of his name. The tight end. Is it Stevens? Yes, Stevens. Stevens had the one big pass play to Stevens. And again, only 8 incompletions. Still hella good. He's a very accurate quarterback. But yesterday wasn't the game for Shedeur. And in my opinion, yesterday wasn't the game. Shout out to Wayne Morgan. Wayne Morgan is excuse me. Wayne Morgan was our first member He was the first person ever to become a member to this channel. So he's always going to get priority on his comments, anything like that. If I see him pop up, he's our first official member to this channel. So shout out to Wayne Morgan. He says, but when you're paid to do a job and you're horrible at it, people are going to talk about you. Them refs were horrible. Yeah. They weren't the best, right? They weren't the best yesterday. I will give you that. Because I talked about it in the live. I said that Aubrey Miller call, right? That sack that he had in the end zone, and they called roughing the passer, which it should have been a sack and intentional grounding, based on the fact that if they're going to call that earlier in the game, I think it was number 67 or 65 for Campbell, and I said this in the live. He threw somebody's helmet. He didn't just toss it to the side. Yes, a player, one of Jackson State's defenders, their helmet came off. And so the player, if he'd have picked it up and like just rolled it over to the side, anything like that, if he would have handed it back to the guy, I'm cool with that. But he tossed it a minimum of 5 yards. And I think I'm being generous if y'all remember that in the game. This is probably early second quarter. He was... So you're not going to call that. You cannot call that roughing the passer penalty in the end zone right there. It should have been a sack, and it should have been a safety. Should have been a sack, and it should have been a safety. Wayne Morgan says I was just being messy. It was a no call on the helmet for me. Yeah. So you're exactly what I'm on. Exactly what I'm on. Double T says, officiating is hard. Yeah, man, I used to officiate basketball. Very, very hard. And I didn't even want to get to the varsity level because I didn't want my bad call or a good call, whatever the case may be, to change the outcome of a varsity game. So I only went up to JV. I could have did. I was really good at officiating because I played. So I understood the game a little more, and I was able to talk to players and get them to understand. But it's hard, man. It's very, very difficult, and I challenge anyone to go do it. CJ Jones said, did you notice that Campbell uses RPO? I don't remember. Honestly. I know they did a lot of they did a couple of screen passes, right? They threw them because Jackson State's defense is aggressive as well. They did a couple of screen passes that got them out of trouble. I believe in that same possession as the roughing the passer penalty. They made some holes at Jackson State's running game, because I do believe Jackson State gave up over 100 yards rushing for the first time this year. Yes, they did. Jackson State gave up over 100 yards rushing for the first time this year. They had 36 carries for 110 yards. Not the greatest, right? But not bad either, right? Anytime you can get over 100 yards rushing, especially against a defense like this, you are doing something right. And then I had a lot of broken plays that turned into positive yards. So because Jackson State couldn't make the damn tackle. Eugenia says, I love watching JSU's defense as much as offense. Yeah, and I'm a defensive guy. I love defense, man. Jay Blue says they beat Valley. So they came back to beat Valley. So, and Double T says Shedeur is good to be a true sophomore, but his numbers are from facing low competition, not top competition like the other Peyton candidates. That may be so, but again, he can only perform against who he's playing. And Brian says all the interceptions were self-inflicted, no tip balls or great plays by the defense. Yeah, the two that he threw last week they were pitiful. And it might have been because of his elbow. Whatever the case may be. JSU wide receivers and QB are good, but it's different from playing 5 to 6 top teams a year. I understand it. I get it. But you can only play who you play. You can only play who's on your schedule. Wayne, tell me how I can join from my iPad. So, Wayne, if you know that, I guess they said desktop view. Helmet flew in the air. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He didn't just roll it out the way. He didn't just push it out the way. He tossed it. That was a hell of a toss. Like he was playing, what do you call that thing? Y'all might not play it, other places. It's a tailgate game. It's a beanbag toss game. They call it. I forgot what they call it. Good Lord. It's not shuffleboard. It's something else. I can't think of it. Can't think of Double T says, "Fact, you can only play who's in front of you." Yeah, only play and perform and put up the numbers who's in front of you. If you're better than them, then damn it, go out there and put up the best numbers you can, right? Yeah, I don't care. You put up the best numbers you can. You put up the best, and of course, you want to perform well against better competition. You want to perform well against better competition. That's just the way I view things. That's if you want to be considered a great player, you perform well against better competition. But also, on the flip side of that, if you're playing against teams less talented than you, then damn it, you're supposed to go out there and put up the numbers. You're supposed to go put up those numbers. But back to what I was saying, the game yesterday was not for Shedeur, in my opinion. It was not for Shedeur. It was for the running game, Mr. Wilkerson. And what's his name? J.D. Morton, I think is his name. The game yesterday, yeah, J.D. Morton. The game was for those guys yesterday. And J.D. Morton did have the fumble in the red zone, which I didn't understand that. I think me and Brian Johnson both were saying that in the stream yesterday. Like, why is Wilkerson not in? Why he's not getting the ball inside the 20 every single time? But the game yesterday was for those guys. Wilkerson had 24 carries for 116 yards. I think that's the most carries he's had on the season so far in a single game. So Jackson State ran the ball 40 times yesterday. 40 times. That's not a norm for them, in my opinion. Not a norm for them, but it was geared for them to run the ball yesterday. The offensive line, shout out to those guys, very, very much improved, doing all the right things. Yes, the Shedeur was running for his life a couple of times. He made one hell of a scramble that pretty much saved them on a drive, and I think it was a field goal drive, or it might have been the last touchdown drive. I can't remember exactly, but it was like a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, something. He ran probably a total of like 25 yards, only to get about 8. A hell of a scramble. And y'all know how I feel about Shedeur's athleticism. He's not the best, not the best athlete in Double T's cornhole. Yep, absolutely. I couldn't think of it. Yeah, he tossed that thing like he playing cornhole yesterday. Tossed that thing like he's playing cornhole yesterday. Wayne Morgan says, again, members get priority on comments, so I'm always going to come to them first. Wayne Morgan says 40 rushes, 31 passes since they switched their whole MO. They had to. The running game was there. It was there for them to be great, and they should do it because they can do it this year again because the offensive line is much improved. All new players on that offensive line. The game wasn't even that close. Jackson had 2 red zone turnovers. Score should have been much higher. But at the end of the day, KK Sai, at the end of the day, it was that close because we're going to give credit to Campbell. I'm going to give credit to Campbell for forcing those turnovers. Right? Yes, the offense is counted for having the turnovers, but I'm going to give credit for Campbell for causing those turnovers because on the interception, that guy could have easily dropped that. It was thrown to him. Like Travis Hunter filled out the picture. I think he was saying he might have been pushed or whatever it may be. But that guy could have easily dropped that interception because y'all know they say DBs play on the defense because they can't catch it. So that's a turnover. It's a turnover. The fumble, it's a turnover. So we're just going to have to be in reality of things and saying that what really happened. And again, yes, Jackson State had 2 red zone turnovers because I feel like Wilkerson should have been here, and we see that Double T said Wilkerson should be getting 20 carries a game. 20 carries a game, not in this offense because again, they're going to get Shedeur his stats. He's the coach's son. He's the coach's son. Trying to get Shedeur stats so much, Wilkerson should have been getting 20 carries a game. And Wayne says he's agreed. Turnovers were forced by Campbell. Yeah. That's the same. If we're going to give credit for what Jackson State does, then I'm going to be objective as well and give credit for what Campbell does and what other teams do. All right, again, I'm not pro Jackson all the way. I enjoy a good football game. I enjoyed that football game way more than I enjoyed doing the other games. Way more than the Bethune-Cookman game. Way more than the FAMU game. The game was competitive. It was played at a high level. Guys were flying to the ball. Guys were making big hits. Did y'all see that hit Shiloh had on that receiver late in the game? Big hits. There was some pushing and shoving. All types of stuff, man. Again, I appreciate y'all coming through here. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button. I ain't even mentioned that at all. Subscribe to this channel. Hit that like button. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, please hit the thumb. Like this show. Heart it, care for it, anything like that. If you got social media, make sure you follow us on any social media platform. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that good stuff. And then if you like what we do over here, you can always hit the Cash App, or you can hit the Super Chat, all right? Super Chat, Super Sticker, Super Thanks. It's not a requirement, but I'm not afraid to take donations. I'm really, really not. So y'all make sure y'all hit that like button for me. I forgot where I was at. And Veronica Hill is in the building. Shout out to Veronica Hill. Appreciate you coming in. Again, if y'all just not getting here, let me know that you are here. Let me know where you repping, what city you repping, what school, what state, whatever, what country, whatever. Just don't come in here and be bashful, right? Like, we don't bite over here. We don't bite. Double T says Campbell should have put points on the board from turnovers, so it was that close. Yeah, and again, those turnovers right there, they had a long drive to go. Right, with the defense that Jackson State has, it's going to be very, very hard to drive on them the length of the field. Like, an 18-play drive for 8 or 9 minutes, something of that nature. It's going to be very, very hard to do. Very, very hard to do. Double T says, between the game sports, you have an even view of the game. That's why your channel is growing. Yeah, I'm going to give it how I see it in the best way possible, because we as fans, we deserve better from what we've been getting from the major news outlets, sports media outlets. We deserve better, right? And because they want to create controversy, they want to create things that people can talk about, and that's good. That's what happens at the barbershop. On this channel, I don't want to do barbershop talk, right? ESPN and other channels, they basically are doing a glorified barbershop talk type of shows these days. And it's not reporting the true facts. It's not breaking down and analyzing games the way it should be, because fans deserve that. And then, that they do that for, the common fan, right? For the fans who just watch sports, just be watching sports. So they keep it on a very basic level. I'm keeping it on a basic level as well, but I'm giving it to you as it should be, for breaking down and analyzing the game the proper way. So, but there's nothing wrong with what they do. They make millions of dollars off of it, and I would love to get paid. I would love to get paid for doing this. High level intensity. He hit the quarterback on that play. Yeah, that game was very, 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 very good. Very, very good. Wayne Morgan says facts. That's why I joined this channel and Blues channel. So appreciate that, Wayne. Caleb Clark says Wayne had 24 carries for 116 yards. I'm sorry, Wilkerson had 24 carries for 116 yards. Yes, he did, and one touchdown. One touchdown where he basically took a defender with him. Don't forget to hit that like button. Yeah, man, y'all hit that like button for me. Hit that like button for me. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all rock with this channel somehow, some way. I didn't expect this channel to go the way it did. It's really, really taken off within the last, let's just say since late September, right? We're almost at 5,000 subscribers, and crazy enough, that was going to be my goal that I was going to mention probably coming up this week. saying that I want to get to 5,000 subscribers by January 1st, by 2023. By 2023, I wanted to get to 5,000. I checked last night. We're at 4,976, I believe. So, man, I appreciate y'all for rocking with BTGS. Y'all can call me BTGS. Y'all can call me The Game or whatever it may be. If BTGS is too long, y'all can say The Game or whatever it may be. My guy Hope Jar gonna be saying my real name on here. I be trying to tell him to stop doing that. You trying to tell him to stop using my real name in these YouTube streets. Ray Morgan, I agree. Okay, y'all still going with that. Eugenia is in the building. And Brian Johnson says ESPN coverage is a disgrace. Yes, they they have to do better. Okay, let me put it like this. They don't have to do better. They can basically do whatever they want. But again, because ESPN is for the common fan, not the fan who really, really loves sports, who really played it. They have to be an entertainment. They're an entertainment business that reports on sports. I am trying to entertain, but also give it to you the way that it should be given to you. Right? It should be given to you. I just came up to say Southern is up next and we can play and destroy them. Yes, Veronica, yes, they are. Southern is up next. They on deck. Right? Y'all remember in the movie Life? He said, we on deck. We on deck. Wayne Morgan says, Bolden and Aubrey Miller play like grown men. Yeah, I don't know if y'all caught my earlier spiel about Aubrey Miller. And again, y'all can go back and fact check this. Like around June 1st, June 2nd, I made a video about my top 5 guys who would be the key to Jackson State's success this year. Aubrey Miller was one of them. It's either in that video or in the video where I said that I think this defense will be better than it was last year. It's in one of those 2 videos, and I said Aubrey Miller will be the defensive player of the year. He was my pick. And I might have to go and make a YouTube short about it. Put it in a YouTube short, put it on the community page, just so y'all can see that I wasn't just blowing smoke out my butt. Double T says, where are all them JSU delusionals that had JSU blowing out Campbell? And Double T, I will flip that on you, right? I will flip that on you. Where's all those delusionals who said that Campbell was going to be the team to take down Jackson State? Campbell would be the team that would take that. I ain't seen very many people on YouTube or on Twitter or whatever it may be in admitting that they were wrong. Wayne Morgan says, I'm a beast. I had 24 carries. You doing right? I misspoke. Mike Davis. What's up, Mike Davis? Appreciate you coming through. That's why I said the J defense had to step up if they had a mobile quarterback. Yep. He was giving them fits, but it was mainly on broken plays, right? And Wayne Morgan says I got over 320 subs yesterday. That's what's up. We will get the rest next week versus Southern if you had that game. Yeah, I might get it through the week. Right? And doing these streams, man, y'all, it's very, very dangerous. Very dangerous to my channel. Y'all know how YouTube is. It's very, very, very dangerous. All in delusion disappears. Say JSU scoring 34. Aubrey Miller is solid. Yeah, and I said that he may not go first, second, or third round, but I think he's pretty much earned himself a chance to be drafted. And I would say he will get drafted. I don't know what round, but I would say that Aubrey Miller will get drafted. And again, when you consider yourself to be a big-time player, a game like Campbell yesterday is the game where you need to show up. And that dude showed up and showed out. He dominated the field like somebody of his caliber is supposed to do. I would say he was the best player on the field yesterday. Well, besides Wilkerson, if we want to go offensively. But we can make the argument that Aubrey Miller was the best player on the field yesterday. I don't care what the score they predicted JSU won. Yes, all that matters. JSU OC Bart needs help at play calling. Too much talent for such average or mediocre production, especially in the red zone. And I said this on my guy DJ Raw Uncut stream yesterday. He did a recap yesterday. I said this in the comments. I said that They are basically overcoaching in the red zone. And as you know, to quote DJ, he basically said, sometimes simpler is better. You don't have to complicate things, right? And we have to understand that Jackson State is trying to get Shedeur's numbers up, right? And that's one, because he's the coach's son. Two, it's a great marketing thing, right? Great marketing thing. The face of your program is putting up those type of numbers, right? And I keep telling y'all, we have to understand that Coach Prime is a business thinker. He doesn't think like a normal coach. I think he thinks more business first, and then he thinks like a coach. All the haters that said Campbell BJSU, Christopher Deuce, yes. Good morning. Good morning, my guy Bobby D is in the building. Good morning. So I'm getting to these. All the haters that said Campbell BJSU, yes. JSU left 21 points in the red zone by turnovers and poor execution. Stephen Campbell says yes, and we discussed that a little bit earlier. We can say that, but we can also say that Campbell forced those turnovers. Haters, y'all running out of teams to beat us. Campbell DBs played yesterday. I think they played pretty good yesterday. I think they played pretty well. Like again, that was, in my opinion, that was the best game of the season so far, from the coaching standpoint. All right, the competitiveness, the jawing back and forth, the pushing and shoving a little bit. That happens. Football is a very physical and territorial sport. The defenses played well. Offenses played well enough. There was a couple of big plays here and there, but again, I would much rather see a very competitive game than see a blowout any day of the week. And Wayne Morgan says morning, and Stephen Campbell and everyone that joined up. Appreciate everybody that's here. Appreciate everybody that's here. Y'all make sure y'all get the like up. I don't know what the like count is, so if somebody sees that, let me know. Wilkerson and Miller, the 2 months on each side of the ball, they play every week. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Veronica Hill, not true JSU fan, has never said that we would go out Campbell. We all knew this game was going to be tough, but we were coming in. Our team was getting the win. Veronica, I will say this. In the stream that I did yesterday, I had a whole bunch of Jackson State fans said that it was going to be a blowout. I seen somebody said like 42-7. I seen like 38-13, something of that nature. But yeah, it was a whole bunch of predictions yesterday that it was going to be a blowout. JSU was missing Wyman on being on the field. Stephen Campbell, excellent comment. Excellent comment. Because one thing Malachi Wyman couldn't do, and it's not the same for every single person. Malachi Wyman has a nose for scoring the football, for getting touchdowns. He led the team in touchdowns last year with 13. He's a tremendous red zone target. Extraordinary red zone target. Standing at about 6'4", 6'5", with a great vertical leap. That's hard to defend. It's hard to defend in the red zone. At any level. At any level. And again, if you are a member, you will get priority on your comments. Every time Aubrey crush somebody, I start to look for flash. He hits or he hits like he plays like an old school linebacker, like one of them old school Pittsburgh Steelers linebackers. Yeah. But Stephen Campbell, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Malachi Wyman is a tremendous red zone target. Shane Hooks is he's a big receiver, but he doesn't have in my opinion, he doesn't have the verticality like Malachi. So you're missing that. Somebody got to know what the real deal with Malachi Wyman. Inquiring minds are in question. Yeah, they're keeping it on the hush hush. I will say that. JSU the most scrutinized team. If they win, y'all complain about how much they should. I beat them by them. And my mark 1,000. And best believe, man, anytime you're on top, you're going to get that type of criticism. Anytime you're on top, and for the most part, yes, there are a lot of people watching Jackson State to see the show, right? There are a lot of people watching to see them lose. And that comes with the territory of being the talk of the town, being the talk of the country, really, being the talk of FCS, being the talk of HBCUs. You are going to get that type of backlash, and it's you take the good with the bad. And I think they have the perfect coach, and Coach Sanders, to deal with that type of stuff. Double T says, I like to see tough games. Test teams will. Yeah, Jackson State needed a game like that. They needed a game like that. And you have to just, take the good with the bad, man. And I'm pretty sure, Coach Prime is talking to those guys about that. Wayne says 68 watching 36 like, yeah. So come on, man, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Subscribe and hit that like button. If you are on Facebook, make sure you like it. You can heart it, you can care for it, and make sure you share the show. Share the show if you're on Facebook. If you're on Twitch, you can do the same. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Just make sure you subscribe. Derek White says, saw a clip last night when Wyman was on the field, missed it during the game. Oh, I definitely missed it. I definitely missed it as well. And my Mark says, I like that our team has been battle tested. Yes, you need those type of games because they easily ran through the SWAC last year. Man, and I won't say easily. Record-wise, they ran through the SWAC. Offensively, they did not run through the SWAC last year. Offensively, they did not run through the SWAC. And that's crazy because Shedeur put up crazy numbers. If that makes sense, if y'all kind of understand what I'm saying. There was a bandwagon fan. Those are bandwagon fans, probably never been to Jackson. And that may be the case, Veronica. So, but again, when you're the cream of the crop, when you're at the apex, you're going to get bandwagon fans. All right, you're going to get fair weather fans. It is what it is. That's how sports go, right? And I try to break that down to folks because there's always somebody going to be out there, man. Well, you weren't a fan when we were this and that, and yes, that may be true. That may be true. Like my Astros, right? I was an Astros fan before it was cool to be an Astros fan because baseball was the first sport that I learned to play. The first sport I ever played, I started playing baseball at 3 because I had 2 older brothers, so I was a little more skilled than most 3-year-olds. And the Astros, I was always on the Astros team, so I was just an Astros fan. So now I've been through the grind of them being bad. I remember the seasons when they were losing 110 games a season. But now the Astros got hellified fans, and as a fan, you should be happy. So what if they're a fair weather fan or a newcomer or whatever? So what? Whatever the case may be. So what? If y'all understand what I'm saying, so what? Please let me know if I'm making kind of somewhat of sense as I get to back some of these comments. Brian says he was on and went outside. My Mark Ballard says makes teams better. Yes, being battle tests make teams better. And Jenny says I'm sitting for watching and only 36 like, yeah, man. So y'all hit that like button for me, please. This is one of those most important. Stephen Campbell said this is one of the most important victories for the JSU program. I had to make sure that they ended their narrative to the JSU not winning these out-of-conference games. Yes, you have to win out-of-conference games. Going back to the 80s, you have to win those. And again, we had, and I'm not the type of guy that's just like, man, there's black folks against the world all the time, right? I'm not that type of guy, but I understand the black plight. I understand black folks wanting to be on the same level. Like, I understand all that, and I get it. I want that. But that's not how life works for the most part. We are going to continue to see differences in this world, and I'm not trying to go off subject here, but I'm trying to make a point. But what I don't understand, I've seen a lot of folks rooting against Jackson State. Again, if we want to put it in that context, Stephen, we want to put it in that context. I've seen a lot of folks, black folks, rooting against Jackson State yesterday, playing against a PWI at Jackson State's homecoming. I've seen a lot. I'm not saying not at the game, but before Jackson State's homecoming, I saw a lot of black folks rooting against Jackson State playing a PWI at their homecoming. So it's great. It was a great win for Jackson State. It was a great win for the conference. It was a great win for the HBCU culture. I'm not understanding HBCU alone wanting Campbell to be just. Yeah, Stephen Campbell. Yeah, and that's crazy. I didn't even read your bottom comment. I just got that. That's crazy. I'm glad Coach Prime is keeping the MW situation behind closed doors. Yes, that's what you're supposed to do. And that my Mark 1000, that pisses me off now that you see it now at the professional level. Everything gets leaked out. Everything is leaked out, which is crazy because if it does get leaked out, it gives me something to talk about. But for the most part, I tend to stay away from those type of topics. For the most part, I tend to stay away from those type of topics. I try to talk about because what if y'all look at news, right? What gets talked about the most? Negative information, negative stories, or positive stories? And y'all can put it in the comments, but y'all know the answer. So I tend to stay away from negative stories as much as possible. I did one video about Deshaun Warren, Mr. Nugget, and I regret doing that video because I had some folks email me, DM me asking me, is he transferring because of another YouTuber was suggesting that and all of that stuff. So I do regret doing that video. But for the most part, I tend to stay away from negative stuff, right? And if it is negative, I try to flip it into a positive thing. But yes, I'm glad that they're keeping it under wraps. JSU left points on the board. Yes, they did, G-Dub, but I'm going to give Campbell credit. Campbell took points away. Wyman was on the field. They made a penalty in the red zone. I think they had to kick that field goal. So Auburn Miller could have damn near had a six or seven tackle sacks yesterday had he not over pursued on so many plays. Yes, he did. And that's a shout out to Campbell's quarterback. Very shifty. What's his name? Something I can't pronounce. Hajjah Malik Williams, I think is his name. He's just a junior. So that kid is I like what I saw of Campbell, man. I can say that I would probably be rooting for them. Let's say I'm rooting for that coach, right? Yeah, it's a PWI, but he has a whole bunch of black players on that team. Derek White, Stephen Campbell, that play was probably going to him. Yep, probably was. Wyman is a dangerous red zone target. Nature Boy, you're absolutely right. But shout out to that quarterback, man. A lot of them hoping JSU loses against Campbell is because JSU delusional fans are ridiculous. Right. I only thought Campbell would edge out JSU by a few points. I knew CU was a running first team, but their pass game was not there at all for them. No. G-Dub, appreciate you coming in, man. G-Dub, being active, right? I love people coming in being active. With Derek White, yep, he got jittery. I don't think Campbell passing game was that bad. It. So I'm going to give credit to Jackson State's DBs, and again, I don't know how long some of y'all been in here, but I said that Travis Hunter's presence said much yesterday. His presence alone, he played pretty good for being out, for 6 or 7 weeks or something of that nature. But his presence on the field, as they used to say when you used to go to church, your presence says much. Your presence says much. And I think his aura elevated the rest of Jackson State's DBs because that was one of the better games I've seen them play. Brian Johnson says, I'm a fan of what Deion is doing, and him being at JSU makes me a bandwagon fan. Yep, play your horn loud and clear. Veronica here, I don't mind new fans. What I'm saying is, what they say is not the true reflection of what we think or feel as a whole. Understandable. Okay, so I appreciate you clarifying that up for me. And again, I'm very, very open for chat and banter and all those good things. Double T, Double O says, PWI or HBCU conferences have to win all the conference games to get those conference ranked higher. Yes, do. Makes sense. As Wayne Morgan has a comment, I'm sorry. Members to this channel gets priority on everything. Alcorn fans and ICU right now at the Texas Southern slapped them yesterday. Yeah. Alcorn fans was rooting for Campbell. Yeah. That's tough. Yeah, Texas Southern with 2 big wins. Texas Southern has beat Southern and they beat Alcorn, who many folks believe that those 2 teams were going to win the SWAC West. So Texas Southern with 2 huge wins, and if you follow this channel, you've seen that I did a video with Butch Alcindor. I've done 2 videos with Butch Alcindor. And we both, I believe, I know he said it, but I want to say I said it too, that Texas Southern was going to surprise some folks this season. And sure enough, they have 2 great wins. And Derek White, man, yeah, that hurry-up offense was causing some issues early on. As a kid, I had no other team to cheer for as a kid. My uncle was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings in 1969. 11 relatives graduated from the J. Ooh, good Lord, Mike. Good Lord. And Brian Johnson, they just don't like Coach Prime. Yeah. And so y'all remember that dude that came in here yesterday? His name was like Champ Paza or something like that. He was going off about Coach Prime and this and that, and he called this game a high school game, and I basically had to set him straight. Like, and I'm going to forever set people straight because I play collegiate sports. It's nothing like high school. It's nothing like high school, especially at the D1 level. At any level at that. Collegiate sports to this day is the hardest thing I've ever done. The hardest thing. My very first practice in college basketball at the D1 level at Stephen F. Austin, I thought I was going to die. I literally thought I was going to die. It was nothing like high school conditioning, running, attention to detail. And my high school coach was very, very detailed. So for anyone who tries to downgrade a collegiate player, I'm going to always correct them. Because it's hard, man. You don't have a life. You're not a regular college student. You're an athlete who just happens to be a student at that university. So, and this is why I always go against the disclaimer of you're a student athlete. You're a student athlete on scholarship. No, you're an athlete who's on scholarship who just happened to be at that school. Total different. You're not a regular student. Derek White, that's the only thing they really had working in their favor. His John's passing game was not there. He was running for his likeness. And it's the same thing with South Carolina State, right? Their passing game is very, very poor. They got hot in the Celebration Bowl game. South Carolina State came back and won yesterday, I believe. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think they beat North Carolina Central or somebody like that yesterday. Same way in Tampa Buccaneers, we had a lot of bandwagon fans because somebody came in. It is what it is, Mr. Yep. It is what it is. Every HBCU SWAC me actually root for teams from their conference playing out of conference game. Makes sense, double T. Campbell, what up, Campbell? Felix speaks in the building. Appreciate you coming through. Campbell played a tough game, yeah. And Hajjah Malik Williams. Yep. So you are really going to find out about Campbell also because they play North Carolina A&T. So yeah, I seen that. They can have them back to back. And Mike Mentor, shout out to Mike Mentor, man. He said he loved the fact. I think he said some of the nation. That was the first time he's played coaching in front of 60,000 black folks. And it wasn't just black folks there, but for the majority part, it was black folks. I like coach from Campbell too, Mike Mentor. Yep. He's doing great things. He was very, very aggressive coach, right? He went for it on 4th down on the first series of the game, and they was like on their own 34, 35-yard line. Eugenia Brown said that's what I like about your sports channel. You focus on the game and not these players' personal lives. That's why network sports channels are becoming trash. Eugenia, I appreciate that, man. I need to screenshot that comment. And put it out there. Maybe one day I'll get a sponsor to this channel. And they will, because again, I'm not going to lie. I would love to get paid to do this on a daily basis. And y'all just don't know, like almost every weekend I sit here and think about, should I do a daily show? And if I do a daily show, will people watch it? And then if they do watch it, what time should I do it? And I guess I could ask y'all that. If I would do a daily show, would y'all watch it? And if you will watch it, what time would you watch it? So if you got any thoughts about that, put it in the comments. This game may single-handedly start a recruiting war between the respective two teams. We're ready for it. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with a little competition. At Jackson State, I think they said they're going to have over 1,000 recruits within the next 2 games, this past game and then the next game against Southern, something of that nature. The Wyman offside was also contributed to the stadium announcing ads during their play. I missed that. And speaking of distractions, whoever had that drone at the game yesterday, genius. I'm just gonna put it out there. Maybe it was a drunken mistake. No, that wasn't no drunken mistake. That was very, very purposeful. Very, very purposeful. They can sell that, man. They can sell that to almost any YouTuber. They can put that on TikTok. They can put that anywhere. They can probably sell that to TMZ Sports. So whoever had that drone yesterday, great thing. NCU lost to South Carolina State. North Carolina A&T is rolling. 2 of the 3 top HBCUs won yesterday. Yeah, Alcorn lost to Texas Southern. Yeah, they did. 34-20. Yes, so y'all own it in the comments. Wayne Morgan says Texas Southern beat Prairie View A&M the SWAC chip fam as BCU Grambling Pine Bluff Valley left on that schedule. They can win out. Texas Southern went out. I think if Texas Southern if PB wins, but I think if Southern wins out, so somebody correct me wrong. If Southern wins out, Southern still has the tiebreaker because they beat PV and they beat them pretty well. So I think Southern has a tie. Felix Spick says, I thought high school football conditioning was hard. Man, hell no. The game is so much faster than college. Yes, man, because for the most part, as a freshman, you're coming in, you're playing against grown men. You're playing against guys who are 20, 21 years old, 22 years old, 23. Now with the super senior stuff, you got 24, 25-year-olds still playing in collegiate basketball. It's so for anybody who ever says, man, oh my God. The higher you go in sports, the more the small things matter. Sports IQ is super important. Yes, and I think I love watching film. And folks think I'm weird, right? I love watching film. I love seeing plays, man. And folks really be like, man, how do you remember that? Especially in basketball, because I'm a basketball guy, man. I've seen some plays. I'm kind of like a Jay-Z type of guy. I've seen some plays from years ago, and I still remember them off the top of my head without writing them down. And I love it. I love to see the execution. I'm kind of like the A-Team for the older folks. Y'all remember that show, the A-Team, and then the guy, what's his name? The lead guy, I can't think of his name, and he always says, man, I love when a plan comes together. That's how I am with plays. Felix Big says it's coming. Yeah, man, hopefully so. Absolutely. Christopher Duke said that was Southern's drone. Yes, AM. It's AM. Oh, Eugenia says, yes, in the AM hour. Hit it first and hard, but be mindful network TVs will be watching and still in on the low. The passing of Stu Scott left a major gap. Yeah. So y'all saying, I think Felix Bix is saying absolutely to that as well. That was Southern's drone. That's funny. Hand Dog says it feels so good to be South Carolina State to be a South Carolina State Bulldog. I bet South Carolina State still has a chance to get back to the Celebration Bowl. I'm just not convinced because I always try not to harp on this young man, Mr. Fields, the quarterback of South Carolina State. He's very accurate, man. Very inaccurate. But somehow, some way, he was able to get his team to a Celebration Bowl last year and then go out there and win it. So obviously he does just enough. So some of y'all are interested about the morning show, a morning show or a daily show, and I've been really considering that. Eugenia. North Carolina A&T versus Campbell next Saturday at 1 p.m. Yes, they have having them for homecoming. A-Team Hannibal, yeah. Hannibal, that's what it is. But yeah, man, I'm like that with plays. I love when a plan comes together. Demarion Wilson, appreciate you coming through. I don't know if this is your first time to the channel. If so, appreciate you coming through. He says, I want to know where those folks at that said Campbell will dominate them. Yeah, we kind of discussed that earlier. That was most definitely something folks were folks was really, really, really harping on. And so now it's for the most part, it's up to Southern. And then I think somebody said it here in the comments, which I'm probably going to be at that game. That was Wayne Morgan, actually. More than likely, I'm going to be at that Jackson State game versus Texas Southern down there in Houston, down there in 3rd Ward, Texas. Because I have to go. I have to be in Houston that very following week anyways for the kickoff of high school boys basketball here in Texas. So my plan is to go down there and be at that game. I'm trying to get on the field, man. I know a couple of people who does some media stuff for TSU, but they're not in the football realm. So if anybody knows anybody in the football realm at Texas Southern, let me know. I'm trying to get to that. Trying to get on the field. That'd be dope. That'd be dope. But yeah, more than likely I'll be at that game. They sleeping in on, yeah. They sleeping in. Funny how after the game the JSU haters and delusionals have disappeared. Double T, man. And that's on par of what people do. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. And just in case Jackson State loses, watch. Any whatever game Jackson State loses, if they lose this year, watch how many channels pop up. Watch how many Twitter pages pop up. Watch how many times Jackson State is tagged, become a hashtag. There'll be a trending topic. There'll be a trending topic. You can bet. I'll bet every dollar I got. I bet every dollar I got if Jackson State loses. Watch the explosion. Watch the explosion of stuff of folks talking about, I told you so. I told you this and that. I told you they weren't going to go undefeated. Or I told you they weren't going to go undefeated in the SWAC. Or I told you Southern was going to beat them. Or I told you Texas Southern was going to. That's how it goes. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. JSU haters and delusional out of the coverage. Yeah, they still sleep, apparently. Apparently, Southern is not beating Jackson State, and Jackson they're not beating FAMU and the Bragg, and that will be the end of that Southern talk. I'll be at the Texas Southern Jackson State game. GW. Okay, that's what's up. I'm gonna try to look out for some of y'all, man. I'm down there. I don't know if I'm gonna go live or not. I will be in some BTGS gear. I will be, so y'all might see me like, hey man, that's between the game over there. Yeah. So it is what it is. If JSU just lost, it would be 300 people in here. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And truthfully, man, I can do a live right after the game, but I want to enjoy my night sometimes, and I just want to give people a break, right? Give them a chance to go and enjoy themselves. Double T says facts. Yes, Jackson State not losing one game. You see that defense, man. It's hard to move the ball on the forecourt. Yeah, absolutely, Mario. Right? And I'm not. I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad if Jackson State goes undefeated. Nothing wrong with that. And for me, because there are folks that say, man, Coach Prime is Nick Saban. He's the next Nick Saban, this and that. Well, first of all, Coach Prime is Coach Prime. He's not Nick Saban. He's not Jim Harbaugh. He's not Dabo Swinney. He's not the UT's head coach. He's not any of those guys. Ohio State head coach. He's Deion Sanders. He's one of one. But for folks saying, Coach Prime is the best coach in the land, and I always say this. He's trending that way. He is trending that way. And I say that because these other coaches have dominated their conference for 2 or 3 years. Right? Coach Prime is entering into that type of dominance right now with these last two teams that he had with Jackson State. You go undefeated again in the SWAC. You win the SWAC title game. You go win the Celebration Bowl game. Come back next year. Go undefeated again or lose one game and win it. Then I'm like, okay. Then I'm okay, right? Then I'm okay. Hand Dog says, loving that we are SWAC commercial started with Rob and ended with Prime. Yeah. Great marketing thing. Marketing. We got to understand business, folks. The depth and physicality JSU makes JSU extremely hard to beat. They're going to be extremely hard to beat. Double T says, North Carolina disappointed me, was hoping North Carolina and JSU would meet in the Celebration Bowl undefeated. Oh. Demario Wilson said, I wish FAMU could make the playoffs again. Well, you never know. They lobbied for it last year. They campaigned for it last year. And shout out to my guy, Wayne Morgan. Wayne Morgan said he found us on Facebook. Appreciate that, Wayne. Yeah, so anybody else who has Facebook, y'all make sure y'all go to the Facebook. The Facebook community page is not like this, man. We only got like 770 something followers on there. So if you got Facebook, man, follow us on there as well. So, you might not feel like getting on YouTube one day. But yeah, so you got Facebook, make sure y'all hit that. Prime is trying to mold the character of men. Saban just wants to win. Again, that's the difference as well. And, from the outside looking in. So I don't know Nick Saban personally, and I'm going to leave it at that. We don't know what he does with those young men. Yes, he wants to win games. He's at the University of Alabama. He wants to win games. But I would say this. Every coach wants to win games. We're not just going to single out the select few. Every coach, you get into coaching for the most part because you want to win games. You're a competitor. You might have played. You just enjoy the sport or whatever. But at the end of the day, especially to keep your damn job, your darn job, you better win games. If you don't win games, you out the door. You see what happened at Arkansas Pine Bluff. Coach Gamble, I think is his name. He's out the door. Out the door. No, forget that. Let me use my Houston slang. He's out the door. Hugh Jackson might be out the door. Just got to the Gremlin. If you don't win games, you are not going to keep your job at the collegiate level. Sometimes at the high school level. And especially in Texas football, you ain't winning games, you out the door. They don't give a damn if you got a teaching job there or not. Campbell was the beginning of the NC North Carolina downward spiral. And shout out to Demarion Wilson. We got a new subscriber. Salute. I ain't got my camera on so you can't see me salute, but yeah, new subscribers, you get the horn. If you make a donation to the Cash App or to the Super Chat or anything like that, you get the different siren. You get the you get the siren with subscribing, and you get the horn and the Don DeMarco thing with donation. So, and I see Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson just found us on Facebook as well. So salute to you, Brian. Jay Watt Wilkerson says JSU get better week in and week out because they're getting the opponent's best. It's different when everyone game versus JSU they Super Bowl. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Shout out to JSU strength and conditioning team. JSU last two games was extremely physical, and they withstood the challenge and actually got a stronger late in these games. Yes. And for folks who don't understand how important the strength and conditioning coach is to a program, and this is why, Mike Davis, I'll put it like this. This is why a lot of folks don't understand why the strength and conditioning coach gets a ring. They don't understand why the trainers get a ring. They don't understand why the water boy or water girl, all that stuff gets a ring. They don't understand why the administrative staff gets a ring when the team wins the championship. Because it takes an entire organization from top to bottom to be a championship team, a championship program. So folks don't really be understanding. So when I hear folks talking about, oh man, why such and such getting a ring? I'm like, dog, you don't understand. Strength and conditioning coach, and a lot of big programs, they have specific strength and conditioning coaches to certain sports. So that coach is a part of the program. He's a part of the basketball program. He's a part of the another sport. That person, he or she may be the strength and conditioning coach for basketball. He or she may be the strength and conditioning coach for tennis, right? These folks get rings. And Mike Davis, I wasn't calling you out on that. I was just saying in general, you may know that, or may not know that. Jay Watt Booker says, click on it like, yeah, man, y'all hit that like button. We almost got to 100. We almost got to 100, which is not bad for Sunday morning. And Jeju linebackers played really good. Yes, they did. All right, so we're going to get ready to probably wrap this up here pretty soon. John says, love that D, and I predict that they blow Southern out. Brian Justice says that Campbell team was huge. I thought so, too. I thought maybe I was tripping. And we all know that the game seemed very, very fast, in which it was fast. Also, we know that the cameraman might have been somebody said the cameraman might have been out hanging with the tailgaters. The cameraman was very, very tough yesterday. I guarantee you them Camel linemen grannies made them chillings every Sunday. Don't make no sense how big them dudes was. Yeah. Again, Wayne Morgan is a member to this channel. If you want to become a member, you have to do it from a desktop, a laptop, or a desktop, or if you're on your phone, you have to change to desktop view is the overall sentiment on that kind of stuff. But look, memberships don't cost much. The rookie level is $199. The next level, I can't think it's like Pro or something. That's like $699, and I think I have All-Star or Hall of Fame. It's like $17.99. So not a requirement, but if you want to, that's something you can think about. Something you can think about. Let's see. Mario said the Jeju team huge too, though. I want to say not as big as Campbell. And Campbell had the number one and number two recruiting class in all of FCS. If I remember correctly, this is the only Coach Mo's first year, giving 3 or 4 years to develop those guys. She says. Strength and conditioning and trainers is the difference of developing players in the trenches. Absolutely right. Hand Dog says there are coaches that will play guys to win games, even though their classroom character will fail them in the long run of life. This was my point. My last comment was about winning. Oh, absolutely. But I will say this: we don't know, right? We can only assume. Right? I haven't heard a ex-Alabama player come out and say that Coach Saban didn't make us go to class. Right? I haven't said that. I haven't seen that. Right? And I totally get what you're saying. Right? There are some coaches who put more emphasis on winning only on the field or on the court. I understand it. I'm just saying that I don't know about that. And I know there are a lot of Alabama guys who have no job. There are a whole bunch of Alabama quarterbacks who have a what do you call it? They're NFL analysts on Sundays, right? Commentators. So I don't know, and I totally understand what you're saying. So I'm saying that I'm not going to assume anything negative, right? Guaranteed and Campbell lineman. Oh, I already went through that. Wayne Morgan said that cameraman was not swag. He wasn't swag apparently. And then somebody had the comment of the day yesterday, if you were on the live, saying that there was a reason why he was working on ESPN Plus. G-Dub said the physical trainers, equipment team all work hard and long hours. They deserve their flowers. Absolutely. And this is why I was pretty upset by the Alabama State football players, saying what they said to those young ladies. So, and I'm gonna leave it at that because I don't want to harp on that too much in the past. People don't understand this. Jackson State football is the biggest football movement in history. Name a football movement bigger. And Mario, and I will say that I don't know. I don't know, and for this I can assume yes, right? We don't know about the history movement, but for right now, we can say yes because of all of the social media, right? Social media changes everything. Social media changes everything, and I'll put this in perspective for you, Mario. Think about the Fab Five of Michigan when those 5 freshmen started at Michigan. They were one of the first to ever do that. the bald heads, the black socks, the black shoe, long shorts, right? And that was a movement then. And I guess we're talking about football, but I'm just kind of comparing sports here. Just think about it if the Fab Five had social media. Just think about the Fab Five if they had social media. And I'm going to leave it at that. Miag Mike is in the building. What up, Miag Mike? Miag Mike is also, I think Miag Mike was our third member to this channel. So what's going on, fellas? JSU average margin of win over SWAC school has been 35 points. The average margin of win out of cover has been 10 points. What does that tell you? And Miag Mike is just giving y'all a different perspective. And Christopher Duke says the haters are starting to come into the chat. Miag Mike is not a hater, man. I think he's a Miag person, of course, but I think he gives a different perspective, and he wants folks to kind of think about it. And it sounds like hating. I think the way he words things maybe might throw people off a little bit. I don't know, but I don't think he's a hater. I think he's a Miag type of guy. He's Miag Mike, obviously, but yeah, it's all his comments and his analysis of things has always been in good sport and good faith. So always been in good sport and good faith. So that's why we rock with Miag Mike over here. But Mario, man, you might be right. I don't know. And Brian Johnson said he wasn't swag. He was whack. Yeah. It tells me they would beat Morgan State. This is I love this channel, man. I love this channel. The haters are starting to come. Okay, and Brian Johnson says, tell me that we left a lot of points out there. Yeah. And you know what? Again, we can say that, but we also can say that they caused those turnovers in the red zone. But they should have been giving the ball to Wilkerson in the first place, and this wouldn't even be a discussion. Miag Mike, a great guy. He's not a hater. Yes, he is. Very, very true. Jackson said this entire year played no proficient quarterbacks. Thus far, they have played athletes playing quarterback and not quarterback playing quarterback. May be true, but Miag Mike, as I was telling somebody earlier, folks are saying, schedules, we can this and that. Again, you play who's on your schedule. You play who is in front of you. It is what it is. There ain't nothing they can do about it, right? They can't force them to go get a better quarterback. New season's in the building. What's up, new season? Appreciate you coming through. Miag Mike, that tells us JSU winning convincingly to come out of conference. That's all. Double-digit wins, right? Winning by 10 points is something to averaging over 10 points out of conference wins. That's not a bad thing at all. Tennessee State and Campbell quarterbacks were athletes, not so much quarterback good win though. So yeah, that tells me the JSU is 2-0 out of conference play. Just win, baby. Yeah, y'all are making some very, very, very valid points. Again, this is why I love this channel. We don't have any foolishness that comes in here and act a fool. I don't know if I gave out. I got my Wayne Morgan. I apologize, Wayne Morgan. You have become a member, so therefore you are now a moderator to this channel. So, but yeah, we keep the chat very, very clean. We keep it very, very positive for the most part. We do we do allow banter and this and that. We cursing for sure. If I'm not gonna curse, then you're not gonna curse in the comments. So. We want to put out a good product every time we get up here. And like my dad and my mom always say, you never know who's watching. So every time I get up here and do these things, I'm trying to put out a very, very nice product that people can enjoy from all ages, from the younger folks, from the 18 to 25-year-olds, until the middle-aged folks like myself, and to the older folks, right? Something that everybody can enjoy. And that's my whole goal with this stuff. And I always hope that y'all learn something from these streams. I hope that I'm providing a different perspective. I hope that I'm providing entertainment. I hope I provide some laughs sometimes, all that stuff. And so, again, I always ask y'all, if y'all rock what I'm doing, let me know in the comments with a 100 or thumbs up. If you don't rock with it, if you think I can improve on something, you can put that in the comments as well. Or if you don't want to seem like folks want to call you a hater, you can DM me either on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, anything of that nature. If you got a suggestion that you think I might can do something better, man, please do so. Please do so. Hey, I'm not one of those. I'm not an a-hole. I'm not one of those folks who are, be upset for somebody. But because as a man, that's what you do. You're supposed to be able to take criticism. If you're going to give out criticism, you're supposed to be able to take criticism without getting angry, without wanting to fight, folks. To beat Jackson State, you need a quarterback that is at least on par with Jackson State's QB1. If you don't have a quarterback that can rival him, it's just over. Jason have to play one. Right? But, I mean, me and Mike, I can say this, right? They could have did that. Jackson State was supposed to beat South Carolina State if you're putting it like that, because let's be honest, Mr. Fields of South Carolina State is not a proficient quarterback. He's not accurate. He did get hot in the Jackson State game last year. Jackson State plays Andrew Body and Texas Southern in a couple of weeks. They're considering him to be a great quarterback. He doesn't have the offensive line, but I think he's going to be running for his life like he has been for the most part of this season. He's going to need a new body by the end of the season. That is a very, very pun intended type of statement. He's going to need a new body. Guy runs for his life almost every play. Mr. Glass last year for Alabama A&M, he was considered a great quarterback. They destroyed him. So sometimes it's just any given Saturday, and even any given Sunday, things of that nature. Campbell QB has tore up some defenses, as WT said. We even let Miak Mack in. Yeah, man. Everybody gets into the club. You do get screened, right? You do get screened, but everybody, we got free admission over here, man. Everybody gets into the BTGS club. And Wayne Morgan says Miak might gonna send him some Gear Tiger Cub footy pajamas. That's funny. Neither quarterback that was good yesterday passing. I think Shedeur was about average, right? He didn't look like his best, but it's still, he only had 8 incompletions. And Miak Mike says, I have to give it to Jackson State. Kickers, 1,000 NFL coaches that they have behind the scenes, the great running back work center and strength and conditioning coach, Brandon and Richard. Yeah. They're putting together a very, very good product. Yes, we even tolerate Miak Mike here in the SWAC, even though he is Miak. Yeah, so y'all, it don't matter if your QB don't have time to throw. Mario, that's absolutely right. The folks in the chat are funny. This is a good channel, man, and y'all make it good, right? It's not what I'm doing, and y'all make the channel good. Win is a win. I'm Miak all day, but I'm going to have respectfully disagree. Jason defense forces your QB to be an athlete. Man, that offensive line, I can't even remember if Niles Gaddy had a sack yesterday. The leading, I don't know if he had a sack yesterday. Let me look. Actually, they're not. Defensively, they're not giving out. I hate when they do that. I hate when they don't do individual stats. Individual stats for the defense, right? Individual stats for the defense. But I don't know if Niles Gaddy had a sack yesterday. Let's see if I can find it. Again, I'm about to get ready to shut this down. It's almost, it is 11 o'clock. Oh my God, I'm missing service right now. Missing service. It is what it is. And yeah, again, shout out to Alejandro Mata, Mr. Automata. He got an extra point block yesterday, but it is what it is. TCU football at the end of the day. But again, I enjoyed that game yesterday. Brian watched the game against South Carolina State. North Carolina Central is really behind. Really lacks physicality. South Carolina State is strong but lacks a quarterback. Yes. And I'm not going to try to mention that young man's name anymore. The front four did a great job pressuring on Campbell. Yes, they did. And that's why they had a bunch of broken plays yesterday. bunch of broken plays. So, but his presence, he probably didn't at Gaddy, but his presence was felt. Brian, Tommy Burrell says, community service, you're on probation for it. No, man, I'm not. I meant like church service, man. No, man. No, man. I'm talking about church service, man. Church service. It's Sunday. That's no, man. I'll put it to you like this. I've never been in trouble in my life, right? And that's because everything I've done in my life, my parents have always told me, like, you can't go anywhere in this country who folks are not going to know who you are. And it's been like that. It's been like that. Everywhere I've been, somebody has been like, man, you're such and such child. I'm like, bro, how, man? I've been to Vegas. I've been to West Texas, out in almost in El Paso, where somebody knew who my father was. And I'm like, bro, no. And then two, I always live by this phrase. If anybody is going to embarrass me, it's going to be myself. Nobody else is going to embarrass me. So me getting in trouble and going to jail, and anything, that's going to be an embarrassment to myself. That's why I have the friends that I have. I have the people in my life I have for a reason, right? Everything I've done very, very strategically. And also, three, like, I couldn't imagine sitting in jail for 30 seconds. I couldn't imagine being in jail for 30 seconds. I've never been arrested, never been handcuffed. You know, I got a ticket. I'm out. BTI, I'm out. Everyone, yeah, have a great day, man. Appreciate you. But no, I couldn't imagine being in jail. This is why when I was in education, I would never go into a regular classroom because I'll go crazy. But yeah, man, I do things for a reason. Look here, Corey Fields may not show up when you want him, but he's always on time. Stay off my quarterback, man. Like, yeah, man, Corey Fields, man, and that's what he did in the Celebration Bowl game last year. So, man, look, we just reached an hour and a half. I appreciate y'all coming through. Again, if y'all like what I do, leave me a 100 in the comments. If y'all want to critique me about anything, let me know. But if you really, really like, again, I always hope that you learn something on these streams. I hope that you learn something. One of the Coach Prime 100 NFL coach told him to leave Auburn Mill as a spot to shout out Campbell quarterback. You can't win with these Navy SEAL coaches. They've seen everything. He giving that Ashanti. Always there when you call. That's funny. Christopher Duke says 100. So yeah, man. Again, I always hope that y'all learn something when I do these streams, and that you can take it and kind of make your own decisions with it. Whether you learn something, you feel like you learned something that was very informative or not informative, and you can slice it how you want to slice it. I always appreciate y'all for spending your time with me. We're going to get ready to get out here. I'm going to go over to my guy Hoops Jargon's channel. He has a Dallas podcast thing going right now, so I'm going to go over there to his channel. And then I'm going to watch service, right? So y'all have a great, great Sunday. And we get ready for next week. We will have some videos dropping this week. Again, if you want to be a member to this channel, you can. It's very, very simple. Either do it from your laptop, do it from your computer, and then it's easier that way. Or if you're on your phone or iPad, you must go to the desktop view. And then under each video or under the community page, homepage of Between the Game Sports, it will say join. You can join. You can join at that. Man, it's great crew too. So yeah, man, y'all be easy on this Sunday. We will be back. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that like button on your way out the door, and subscribe on the way out the door. And once you subscribe, hit that bell button and turn on all the notifications so you know when we go live, when we drop a new video, when we make a new post, anything like that. You're on Facebook. Make sure you like this, heart it, care for anything like that. If you're on Twitch, do the same. As always, I enjoy it. Y'all, love every single one of y'all for the support. And let's continue to grow this thing, right? Let's get to 5,200 subscribers by January 1st of 2023. So, as always, as I leave y'all, I always tell you, on your best day, be better, Think about it. Between the Game Sports, I'm out. Peace.